Hello and welcome to my garden in Norfolk. So the good thing is you can see more and more signs of spring. So please watch this video. The first part of which is a couple of short clips where I explore particular parts of my garden. And then I'm going to let you watch a small tour of my garden. So I don't know if you saw, I was particularly excited because there was a mother and father blue tit, which are going in and out of one of my boxes, which I'm particularly excited about. And there was another bird that I need to look up in my bird book. I did a close-up and it was jumping about in one of my trees. So it was really lovely to see. So you could see there all the piles of waste that I need to get rid of, for those of you that have watched me on my other channel. And then you can see that I'm clearing up leaves and stacking some of the wood away in the wood shelter. I would like to use the wood a little bit more from my wood shelter and run that down a bit more. But actually the weather we're having at the moment is really quite mild. So this is the first time that I've cleared the leaves up. Now, of course, I managed to burn quite a lot of the leaves when we had Guy Fawkes night, because as I had the fire in that middle section that I'll need to seed in a few weeks, I was raking all the leaves into the fire. But actually most of them were all spread across the ground here, and a lot of them have just rotted into the ground, it seems. So there's not really that much to do, but I was just kind of tidying up the edge of the grass. I don't do loads of tidying up quite yet because there is still a chance that we could have another frost. So I don't like to do too much weeding. But of course, there's getting that balance with wanting to crack on with the garden without causing too much disturbance for insects, for the possibility of little pupae for the butterflies and moths and so on, all within the grass and leaves. So I don't want to cause too much disruption. And also, can you spot my little hedgehog house? So those of you that might have seen from my previous video, the little hedgehog house I bought for £5 from a jumble sale. And just before the winter, I thought, goodness me, it's not lasted very long. I haven't even had it really. I suppose I've had it a year. And I was going to get rid of it. And then I opened the lid and there's a hedgehog in there. And the hedgehog's in there now. So that was very exciting for me. I tried to do so much in my garden to encourage wildlife, insects, nature. So many houses are being built in the area that I live, and nearly all of the houses don't really have gardens, very, very small gardens. And there's not a chance really for wildlife to thrive. With such small gardens, you can't get hedgehogs breeding with plastic grass and no trees and no hedgerows. So it really is tough for wildlife at the moment. So that's why I love to create little places where, hedgehogs and wildlife can thrive. And very soon I'll put out my hedgehog food that I've got out of the cupboard. When I did my big pantry sort out, I found some hedgehog food. So once the weather starts improving a little bit and the hedgehog will come out of its nest. Can't think of the name for a hedgehog nest. I used to know it, but I've forgotten it. I'll put out some hedgehog food, and I might even set up a night camera. And if I get some good footage, I'll be able to post it on here. Also, you'll see my laurel bushes. They're really filling in the gap really nicely. My previous neighbours got quite unhappy because there was a gap here. But they don't have a boundary at all. The fence is in our garden and we've got the laurel. So it's quite a lot of our garden is taken up, and the laurel has got wider and wider and wider. So I really want to cut that back, and hopefully it will continue being nice and dense and maybe get a little bit taller. Now in a minute you're going to hear me do a little bit of a voiceover and explain what I'm doing. And I'm sorry, because it's windy, it's not that easy to hear. But since I've done this, my husband is researching what sort of microphone I can get and connect to my phone via Bluetooth, so you'd still be able to hear me speaking regardless of the weather. Now, something that I just wanted to touch on in this video was the fact that I do split my garden into sections. And by splitting it into sections, I find that each section then has a purpose. Now, the purpose of the section might be like the area with the bench, so I can sit on the bench and just relax with the greenery around me. It might be a section, a corner, which has got visual appeal. It might be my working area, which is me growing vegetables and me growing things in seed trays. It might be my herb area. Each part of my garden, I like to think, has a purpose and has a focal point. Now, some parts of the garden, such as where I've got my wood shelter, that has an obvious purpose. But you can see I really want to improve this whole area for the grass. Now that's because a lot of this is in shade, because I've got two big ash trees. They do take up a lot of space, they take a lot of light, but I do really like the ash trees. They serve a purpose for wildlife, for birds, and also for us, because every couple of years we have them trimmed and we then use the wood for our fire. So in a minute you're going to hear me do a couple of clips where I talk about the specific areas. I do hope you can hear me, but if you can't, please look out for a future video where hopefully you'll be able to hear what I say a bit clearer and without having to put the volume up really, really high. So I need to cut these all back, all of these bits here. Really I should have done that probably November time, October time, before the first signs of frost, but I just didn't have time. So all of this needs to be cut back. You'll see there's a mass of plants as well as weeds. So that's where some of your knowledge about plants does come in, to make sure that you're not pulling up the plants, you're only pulling up the weeds. Over at the back here, I've got a fatsia, I've got a pear tree, which looks like that's going to come up quite nicely. The tree at the back I've got reduced. I can't think what species it is at the moment. That's really not doing very well there. So I'm going to cut back some of this privet. This has got, I can't think of the name at the moment, but it's got that lovely yellow flower, bright yellow. That'll be flowering fairly soon. It looks like my artichokes coming back up. And then this here is a honeysuckle, and I'm trailing that to go up the trellis. I've got more artichokes here, there as well. So I've got Jerusalem artichokes over there, and then I've got globe artichokes here. So I've got big rosemary here, which I'm going to cut back because that's kind of gone right over to the grass. Geraniums, lupins, some Michaelmas daisies. Here is some more Michaelmas daisies that I need to cut all this back. This is an apple tree which is struggling because I've got this thorn that comes from under the fence from the next door neighbours. So I need to cut all that back. And then this is my herb section. So all of this, they just need to be pruned and yeah, just maintained really. That's another job. And this section here I need to weed and tidy up. So my plans for this area, tidy up the pots. I've got some herbs here, but I've also got some little shrubs. This is my variegated fatsia, which is not doing too badly. This one's doing better. I like those. Other shrubs. This hydrangea is my daughter's, so that needs to be cut back. Probably need to put some more soil in. I need to get rid of all the leaves in this area, and I'm going to paint my bench. I'm going to cut this back. I'm going to paint my bench. Probably going to paint it like a dark navy blue, or maybe even black. And then I'm going to cut this back quite a lot. So here, as I've said before, this is my working area, but there's an awful lot to do. So I've got pots all in a muddle. I've got herbs that I moved in the summertime. I need to go back to my herb section. There's vegetables that I put in quite late. They haven't really come to much. The beans need to all be taken down. These are all my pots ready to put at the front of my house. They've all come up really nicely with bulbs. Although some of those look like they're blinds, but those ones should come up quite nicely. And then I just generally need to tidy and sort out this whole area and get some space back. I was growing an awful lot during lockdown and selling all my spare plants, and so people gave me loads and loads and loads and loads of pots. So I've got pots all over there, I've got pots in that container, pots in that blue container, pots all piled up here, so real lots to sort out. So I'm going to be posting a video a couple of times a month. I'm going to aim for, so you'll be able to follow my journey. So please, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do. Because that'll motivate me to put some more on YouTube. Often I go and just don't record it, but yeah, loads to sort out here. But I try to keep everything behind this whole area, behind the noisy. So I'm sorry my video cut off. It was because I have absolutely no storage space in my phone. And I needed to delete items off my phone so I can make more videos. So I hope you've enjoyed my short video of my garden in Norfolk, and I'll see you in the next video.